everyone, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a couple weeks. Last Sunday was my birthday, so I took a little time off and I'm excited. You see my parents decorated for me. I have been enjoying this time with my family. So this past week had two big milestones. We rang in the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. I am so excited about the new year and all that I have planned for my channel and just connecting with you all and continuing to connect with you all. So if you haven't done so, go ahead and click that subscribe button and make sure you like the video once it's over because I'm sure you'll like it. And I also celebrated my 40th birthday, which I talked about the big four. Oh. Very exciting for me, and I'm actually more excited for my 40th year than it being a new year, but I'm excited about both of them. But being 40, there's just something that has clicked, and it's like, Christy, you, all the things you've wanted to do, now is the time. I just have a renewed confidence and a new appreciation for the things that I've done and the things that I will continue to do. So let's get into what I'm going to talk about this week. So this week I'm going to be talking about actually a post I made on my Facebook page a year ago. So when I was about to turn 39 this time last year, one of my friends said, "What advice do you have as you plan to turn 39?" And I thought about it and I wrote a whole post, and that's what I'm going to share with you all today, because as I read that, Facebook has this lovely thing where the memories come up, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to be carrying that into my 40th year as well. And then as I start thinking about other things that I want to shift in my life and other things I want to have happen, I will add to the list. So let's get into what I had for turning 39 and what I want to share with you all today. So the first thing is ask for what you want personally and professionally. I have had to learn this the hard way, and nobody is a mind reader. And this goes into even when you're working, even when you're in relationships, whether that's friendships, whether that's romantic relationships, you have to ask for what you want, because no one's a mind reader. We are not a mind reader, so expecting someone else to read our minds is not really gonna happen. So ask for what you want. And if I could have learned that at 22, because this whole post came about because I took a picture with my 22-year-old self, which is when I was graduating college. I'll show you all a picture right now. Wait for it. And so I was thinking about what would I tell my 22-year-old self, and I would say ask for what you want. And I've had to learn that in my late 30s, and I will be carrying that into now that I've turned 40. The next thing is let shit go. So move on emotionally and physically. So this takes time, and this is to say move on from people and institutions because their shit is not your shit. And this takes time. You got to move through it. You got to cry through it. You got to punch your pillow, whatever you need to do to move through. And it takes time to move on. But moving on in that emotional and that physical space, if you are able to, is important for your own mental health and as you grow and develop as a person. So don't hold on to stuff you don't need to hold on to. Next one, prioritize yourself. Literally, no one, and I'm reading off my list here, literally, no one else will, including institutions, which is why the first is so important, which again was to ask for what you need personally and professionally. And keep it in mind, I'm a single woman. I don't have kids. I don't have a partner. So for me, being able to say prioritize myself, it's going to look different than for those that may have kids, that may have spouses. But at the same time, you still have to prioritize yourself, whether you have other people in your immediate household or your family that you're helping out. You still have to help yourself. As the saying goes, you cannot pour from an empty cup. So prioritize yourself. The next one, listen to yourself. This is so important. When we talk about what is that gut feeling or what is your gut telling you, that's important. That is a real thing. You all know that you've been in situations where something wasn't feeling right and you were like, no, I'm going to take a step back here. Trust yourself in that. Listen to yourself. You know yourself best. So start doing that. Don't have second thoughts when you're trying to make a decision and maybe you've asked other people for what they thought about. Just know that you know yourself and you've put in time and energy into making a decision. So trust yourself. And what goes along with that, with listening to yourself, is doing the deep work to know the feelings and emotions that are rising and trust the work that you've done with working on yourself and with listening to yourself, that what you're hearing from yourself is truly how you're feeling, and that you can move forward with that because you've done the work to know and to listen to yourself. So, with listening to yourself and prioritizing yourself, what also takes place, and I mentioned this right before, is also doing healing work. I mean, the hard work that it gets uncomfortable and includes spending time in solitude and reflection. And in my case, that was seminary for me. I was able to stop working and go back to school. Again, that was my second degree, but that was really a time for me to do deep intentional work. That's where I learned to meditate. That's where I learned how important quiet was and to be okay with working through my thoughts through meditation. But again, that takes hard work. I was in counseling during that time. I went through a lot of spiritual angst in that time to learn more about myself and to learn my truth. But it was important for me to do, and it's important for you to do, to take that time. And when you take that time, that's how you get to when you're able to listen to yourself and to trust yourself and to know what the next steps are for you. That's also how you begin to prioritize yourself. Prioritizing yourself means taking time in solitude and reflection, and that's important as we move through this journey of life. So, the next one, and this is a big one for me, is don't think that being compassionate and a helper means you have to give all of yourself. And what I mean by that is giving all of your time, your money, your energy, your talent to others. That's not what, and that is not selfish. So to think that being a helper and to be compassionate means that you do all of those things is very exhausting, and it's a harmful state of being, because that when we're wanting to help other people and be compassionate, it's not important. It's important not to give so much that we exhaust ourselves, because again, that goes back to prioritizing yourself, because you can't pour from an empty cup if you've given and given and given. And being a helper, and I've had to really learn this, is not, because sometimes we do things and it's for selfish reasons. It's like, I'm going to do this because it's going to make me feel better. And that's the wrong reason to do things. You want to do things not expecting anything in return. And sometimes when we have that idea of this is how we're going to fill this void, and that's what I've had to learn, that a part of that hard work that I just talked about is learning that I do stuff and it was conditionally. I did it because I wanted something in return. And I had to learn that I can't do that and that that isn't important for me. And last but not least, and the whole reason I started my channel is to make sure you're seeking joy. That has been one of my priorities this probably the last 2 or 3 years. And I'm going to be amping that up as I go into my 40th year into 2021. And I always use joy because I feel like happy is overused, and we have made it into a very surface level word. So I want you to keep seeking joy, and I hope you come back to my channel. And I have some great things to talk about and to share in 2021. And I'm excited to get this first video out of 2021. And I hope you really enjoy it. And I want you all to, my niece snuck into that last frame. So I hope you all enjoy this advice, and hopefully you use some as you're moving into the new year. And we will see you later. We'll see you next week. I'm going to be bringing the energy. Hello, 40. I am so glad you all are here with me on this journey, and I look forward to spending more time together. Please subscribe, like, and comment, and I will see you all next week. I hope you're having a fabulous 2021.